So Marvel Studios right now has listed their Phase 6 slots for all of their movies, and there are some mystery slots that they haven't revealed yet. Now, we're hearing that some of these dates might actually be canceled, which doesn't come as that big of a surprise, as Marvel Studios has decided to either delay or cancel a lot of projects recently. And it's for a good cause. They are taking all the time they have right now to focus on Doctor Doom and his story and the remaining story of the multiverse saga. But since that's what they're doing right now, there are still some missing pieces. There's some movies that should be happening that we still haven't officially heard anything about yet. And these movies have already been confirmed, like Shang-Chi 2, Black Panther 3, Doctor Strange 3, Thor 5. They've either been confirmed by the studio or confirmed by the actors. And we knew that we were going to get at least one of these movies before the end of the multiverse saga, but now it looks like we might be getting two of them, as Marvel Studios has just registered a production company. And like it typically is when they register the name of a production company, the name kind of gives us a hint as to what to expect the movie to be. And luckily for us, the folks over at thecosmiccircus.com have discovered what Marvel Studios has done and have discovered what the name of the production company is. So big shout out to the Cosmic Circus. They are the first to report this. At least that's what their title says. It says, first report, Marvel Studios has registered Atlas Hall Productions UK Limited. They state, as Marvel Studios continues to push out their release slates and dominate the mainstream media during the first quarter of the year with Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Captain America Brave New World, and Daredevil Born Again, Kevin Feige and co. behind the scenes continue to lay out the groundwork for their upcoming projects as we reach the end of the multiverse saga and even beyond. Recently, a new production company, Atlas Hall, was registered in the UK for a Marvel Studios film. And in today's report, we're going to break it all down for you and what the title could mean. Now, I touched on this a little bit, but they state whenever you're trying to predict what future productions Marvel Studios has in store, working titles, production companies, and LLCs often point to the direction a film intends to go. For example, we heard that the working title for Spider-Man 4 is Spider-Man Blue Oasis, which points to the story of Spider-Man Blue, which involves Gwen Stacy, which could hint that Gwen Stacy is going to be a part of Spider-Man 4. Now, we recently heard Sadie Sink was cast in Spider-Man 4. Some insiders have stated that they've heard she's MJ, but I would rather her be a Gwen Stacy or a Jean Grey or Firestar, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So right away, when you hear Atlas Hall Productions, you might think what I thought at first and what the Cosmic Circus seemingly thought at first as well, the Agents of Atlas. The Agents of Atlas are a very popular superhero team in Marvel Comics, and granted, fans have wanted to see this team in the MCU for a pretty long time now, especially with their leader in the comics being Special Agent Jimmy Woo, who a lot of fans, including myself, really love in the MCU right now. He's played by Randall Park, who I think is an excellent actor, and he's super funny. But like I mentioned in this video and many times in my other videos, and you'll know if you've been following the channel, Marvel is kind of getting rid of any stories in the MCU right now that won't necessarily tie into the overall story of Doom and the multiverse ending with Incursions and Battleworld. So I don't see them throwing in a new story with the Agents of Atlas. Plus, not to mention they have some ground to make up, since originally their plans were for Kang and now they're for Doom, and we haven't heard anything about Doom at all yet. Which means the more likely option for this film is Thor 5, if we consider the title of the production company. And the Cosmic Circus thinks this to be the case as well. They state that another plausible theory focuses more on the implication of the full term Atlas Hall. In Greek mythology, Atlas refers to the Titan that was condemned by Zeus to hold up the sky and the heavens by Zeus for all eternity. In Marvel Comics, his comic counterpart is condemned to the same fate. But in addition to all that, he is a part of the Axis Mundi. This cosmic center connects the heavens and the earth and takes many forms depending on the religious beliefs of the people who gaze upon it. Based on that connection, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to speculate that Atlas Hall could connect to the possible Thor 5 film. Zeus and Hercules will be looking to settle the score with the God of Thunder following the events of Thor, Love and Thunder. And that's pretty much it for the article, but I'm going to take it one step further, because I think that this is actually referring to Loki. Atlas is condemned to hold up the heavens for all eternity. Well, that's kind of what Loki is doing right now. He's not holding up necessarily the heavens, but he is holding up the entire multiverse. He wasn't, of course, condemned to do it, but it was his glorious purpose. Plus, the article does mention the Axis Mundi, and in the comics, this is the cosmic center, or the connection between the heaven and earth. Again, that kind of is Loki right now. And we have heard that Valhalla is also going to be a place that is visited in Thor 5, if those plans haven't changed. So that is sort of another connection there between the heavens and the earth. Another really big connection to Loki is that throughout the history of Marvel Comics, the axis has changed. It has shifted. It's been in Korea, it's been in India, it's been in the Amazon, and eventually it makes its way to America, to Washington, D.C. And Hercules and Zeus actually go to Washington, D.C. to find it because they want to find the Norse Axis Mundi link to Yggdrasil. Well, based on what they showed us at the end of Loki season 2, right now, Loki is Yggdrasil. He is allowing Yggdrasil to be. He is holding it all together. So while Marvel Comics doesn't ever adapt a comic story page for page in the movies, one can see how there is a lot of connection and inspiration here. Now, if this movie is for Thor 5, we're not 100% sure when it's going to be released, but it looks like it's going to be released sometime between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. It obviously can't be before then because they would have had to have already started filming for it since they're about to go into Avengers Doomsday. Then not too long after, actually during the filming still, Spider-Man. So since they registered the production company already, it's probably coming after they film Spider-Man. And then they're probably going to be filming Secret Wars on top of that film. But there are some stories and connections that need to be made. And Loki is one of those connections. And a lot of people, including myself, very much so, are hoping that Thor and Loki will eventually connect. So if what we heard about a major plot point for Avengers Doomsday is true, and this was also Alex Perez from thecosmiccircus.com reporting this, Loki is going to have a big role to play in Avengers Doomsday. Based on what Alex has heard, there's going to be a race to get to Loki in Avengers Doomsday, the race being between Doom and whoever is following Doom. And we have heard that even some of the good heroes from the universes that we know and our main universe will side with Doom, but then the other Avengers who don't. It's going to be a race between these two different parties. I'm assuming Doom wants to get to Loki because Loki does have a certain power over the multiverse. And based off of what we know, it sounds like Doom is indeed going to want to at least try and save the multiverse. Now, Alex also said that Doom doesn't like the TVA and doesn't like Kang because of how they handled the multiverse, specifically the sacred timeline over all the other universes. So maybe this is kind of how Doom becomes a true villain and not just somebody who is believing they're doing good trying to save the multiverse, but somebody who ultimately ends up wanting Loki's powers to be the one who is in charge of the multiverse and what happens to all of the different universes. Now, since we believe Avengers Doomsday is most likely going to end with the destruction of the entire multiverse and the creation of Battleworld, that would most likely mean that Loki and Thor would run into each other on Battleworld, or maybe even in a different realm. The two of them could even end up in Valhalla. It kind of depends on how Marvel Studios is going to depict Valhalla inside of the MCU, because we never really know what direction they're going to take a concept from the MCU and introduce it inside of the MCU. But if this project is Thor 5 and it doesn't really appear to be pointing towards anything else, and Loki plays a huge role in Avengers Doomsday and we see the destruction of the multiverse in Avengers Doomsday, then Thor 5 is probably going to take place on Battleworld and might visit Valhalla. This might also explain how Hercules and Thor might end up working together, since in the comics they are actually very good friends. Hercules might go after Thor originally, but if the multiverse gets destroyed, it's kind of a moot point. They're going to have to work together to try and defeat Doom. At least that's what you would imagine. So a lot of things point to this mystery project being for Thor 5, and I certainly hope it is, because I do think Loki needs a little bit more story, and I do want Thor and Loki to reunite eventually. So hopefully this is Thor 5. Hopefully it comes sometime a little bit after Spider-Man 4 and before Avengers Secret Wars. Could we also still possibly get a Doctor Strange 3 and a Shang-Chi 2? I'm assuming we might get one other one if we get another one, but the schedule is pretty tight right now and we might not get either of those films. I would personally love to see a Thor 5, especially because Chris Hemsworth already said the tone needs to be very different, but go ahead, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Out of all the projects we could get, which do you hope this is going to be? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news, rumors, or leaks leaks. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.